Going live.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo. What's going on?
Back again for another week of We're Going Live here. So we're going live. Yeah, so I think we're just going to hop right into it here. And I'm sure Callie's going to let everybody know exactly why we're here and why we chose to do this. So go ahead, Callie.
Yeah, man. So, hey, I got to record this and just like push the button every time the show starts. But everyone, thanks for tuning in. Happy Friday. Happy Good Friday. It's a special Friday. If you're wondering like what this is all about, myself, Alex, Brad, and Shawn.
You have to think of it.
What happened there? Myself, Alex, Brad, and Shawn are all part of the same mastermind, and we're all getting chastised for, lacking in our social media presence. So we decided to JV on going live together and just kind of making ourselves vulnerable and getting comfortable, speaking in front of a camera to our audience and sharing our journey, because it's so important to do this. And as far as, building up that credibility and letting people know what we're up to. So yeah, this is it. So we decided every Friday at 3:00 for a little half an hour, we would just kind of get together, talk about what we're up to. We try to make it fun and interactive. So we encourage anybody watching live or even afterwards to put comments in there. We will respond, and we do it for you as much as we're doing it for ourselves. So if you're watching right now, thanks a lot. Put some comments in there. Let us know where you are in Canada or wherever you are in the world. It's the World Wide Web. So I'm looking forward to seeing some comments from like outside of Canada one of these days. That'll be pretty cool. But
yeah,
my name's Cali Braithwaite. I'm in the GTA. I'm investing across Canada. So focusing mostly on flips right now and assignments. If you ever do want to contact me to discuss the deals that I'm working on, there's my Instagram, Grow with Cali, or you can find me on Facebook, Cali Braithwaite. And two other great fellows here are going to tell you what they're up to, and then we're going to get right into this.
I'll jump in. Alex Mustatea in Hamilton, Ontario. I focus on flips and I guess conversion projects, duplex conversions or multifamily conversion projects, primarily in Hamilton, but also GTA and Southern Ontario. Being in Hamilton, I was going to add, so I think we've all acknowledged Carly as our biggest fan for this, but I think she's got competition that my mother-in-law is always chiming in, and she's on there now. So hello. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Yeah. That's great. Pick up Carly. Let's go.
Exactly.
Probably not even watch it now, too. No, that's great. It's great to see that we got some family coming up and showing support and all that. And I just want to say happy Easter to everybody, and thanks for joining us here on this holiday, Good Friday. So yeah, what exactly are we going to talk about today? I think that we weren't really sure exactly what we're going to get into, but I've been having lots of success lately, so I'm happy to share that. I've been doing some good deals, a lot of with present company as well. So it's always good times to talk about, and I just like to basically let everybody know that things are going well for me here in Moncton, New Brunswick. And if you want to reach out, definitely get in touch with me. My name is Shawn Gunther, and if you want to reach me by phone at 506-800-4289, and at Instagram at the Moncton Wholesaler. But yeah, what about you guys? I'm sure that you guys are both doing well as well. You always hear about more deals happening, so I'd like to hear what you guys got going on as well.
Alex, I'll let you grab the wheel, man.
Yeah. Well, most recently, as early as yesterday, we've closed on my fourth property just in the past few months. And it was somewhat of a delicate situation in that, so we negotiated this particular deal with the seller, who happens to be a close friend of mine or family friend. And we negotiated this back in October, November. Obviously the market has shifted considerably to a positive, but There was always her biggest concern at the time was a tenant that was being problematic. The tenant had stopped paying as early as January. And she had no intent on actually moving out. She had previously signed paperwork to vacate the property in an 11 form, but then she changed her mind, and it just it became a real nightmare for the existing owners. In that process, realizing that she may still be there, I had already engaged a paralegal to deal with the matter. So I think additional letters went out. So anyway, yesterday we closed. I had no key to actually receive because the tenant had previously changed the lock and never gave the existing owners a key. So it was even that much more difficult. But in the end, I was able to go there yesterday with the previous owner or her husband. And we were able to basically see through the back window that the property is vacant at this point. She has moved out, or at least the main floor of this townhouse is empty. So I think we weren't able to get in, but it looks like it is vacant. So that was a positive. And we ended up taking possession of a vacant property where we were prepared that she may still be in there. So I think tomorrow I got to go there and drill that lockout.
That's awesome. Is that what your Facebook story was about?
That's exactly it. I
was going to message you and ask you about that. I was just going to guess, a difficult tenant.
That's right. I went out and bought a new door lock yesterday just in case I was going to go there today and everything's closed today. But anyway, I decided that I was going to do it tomorrow. And this is, by the way, in partnership with Juan. So the two of us are going to find a way to get in there. If I have to, I suppose I'll call a locksmith, but I take some pleasure in drilling that lock out if I have to.
Use a hammer.
I want to save the door. Trust me. Yeah. Hey, by the way, check this out. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is a map of Hamilton.
Oh,
TV. Quite proud of that. I picked that up a little while ago. I had it delivered, and I put that up there.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Is it under glass, or can you put pins in there? And
I was thinking about that, but no, it's really nice, clean, smooth finish.
Nice.
But it is like a 3-layer print.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 3D printing per se, but it does have texture. But it is a nice, smooth, hard finish, so you can't put pins in it. It's not supposed to be a pegboard.
It'd be cool to get something like that and have it under glass, and then you could just use marker to kind of put each deal that you've done, each spot, kind of a pinpoint. I was thinking
this was going for a slight bit of more of a classy look, I suppose. I don't know why I have it, but anyway.
Nice, man.
All class.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
what we're excited about. Now we'll see what we got to get in there and see the extent of the renovations required. Obviously, I've done some walkthroughs in the past, so I know as a minimum kitchen, bathrooms, flooring, paint, doors, trim, that kind of thing. But I just realized the windows are quite dated, and initially I was under the impression that those were the responsibility of the condo board, and it's not the case. So I feel like, in order to really bring it up to, updated standards, I may need to change the windows as well. And on the one hand is obviously the cost, but I wouldn't be so worried about that as much as the time. Window delivery now, we're talking about 5 to 6 weeks, and then they need to be installed. I was hoping to be in and out within 4 to 5 weeks. So it may push our timeline out a little bit, but again, we got it vacant, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. How about you, Cali? How's life in your world?
It's busy, man. It's going good though. I was having a conversation earlier with my father today, and I was just realizing, how thankful I am, just not being an employee right now.
Yes, sir.
I'm really loving this lifestyle. The deal flow is able to support the lifestyle that we have and some, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't have the stress of, the whole reporting to somebody every day, or, you and I, we would fly. I don't need to talk about that, but just the whole being an employee, I'm realizing that it doesn't need to be that way. There's so much opportunity out there, even with this pandemic right now. And I don't want to come across as being naive to like what's happening around us, but it's really been even with not even just real estate related, but it has been really good, right? And I look forward to more of this. But yeah, so right now I'm working on I got a flip that I picked up. I'm just planning for that now. That one is in Peterborough. I think we spoke about that before. That one closes at the end of the month. That's a pretty sweet opportunity out there. There's a project that I'm working on right now in Toronto, which is like a full gut job. We're relocating stairs. So that's a big one. We're adding a little living area in the back of the house. Like it's a really big project, but it's super exciting. Today I was there with the plumber and the GC, and we're trying to figure out, where to put the bathroom in the basement. And we're thinking of like, okay, the ductwork's got to go here. Where are we going to put the utility room? We're moving everything around to open it up because the feng shui, we'll call it, was like way off before, right? So we want to maximize,
You've heard Kelly doing some Asian renovations here, or what?
Yeah. Hey man, Toronto is very multicultural, so we're actually
you can't mess with feng shui.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So it's exciting. It's exciting, just like being there. Like some of the projects that I've done with you guys, I'm virtual, so I'm not hands-on at all, right? I'm just kind of looking at video that Daniel is showing me or you're showing me, and I'm just saying, yeah, okay, go ahead, this is it, this is cool. But this one here, I have the opportunity to really be involved in hands-on as far as like the planning goes, like physically, dealing with the contractors directly and on site. And I like it. I'm enjoying it. So I see the potential, because thankfully sometimes we get involved in these deals, and the way the market is going, very similar to what Alex said, you might start the negotiations like this one. We started talking about this back in September, and house prices have gone up catastrophically since September. So the confidence now in the deal is there's so much less stress, because you're like, we're already profiting. You know what I mean? The margin has grown so much already that we can spend a little more, make it a little nicer, and have more confidence on the back end, knowing that we're going to be, a healthy profit, right? So yeah. It's that much more enjoyable of a process when you're taking on this size of a renovation, right? It's
yeah, but just the regular appreciation's helping you out a lot there, right? And I think that's kind of a lot of the sentiment right now in the market, where everything is going crazy. People are willing to spend a bit more, and you know what I mean? Like I think that's kind of a dangerous game to play in a way. At the same time, though, you want to definitely make sure that you're not going too crazy, right? Because this is going to last, right?
It's interesting. 10% budget overrun on a $200,000 renovation can easily be surpassed by the increase in the market. So you might not think too much of that. But you didn't just get lucky here, man. Like, you placed yourself in that position at a time where you were ready to do this project with probably lower margins. And, the indicators were there that the market would continue, but had it not, you still would have acted on it. So, you didn't just win the lottery by sitting back and not doing anything about it. So,
yeah. All of our numbers are very conservative. Like, we're still using numbers based off what we purchased, like when we were negotiating at that time frame, what the ARV was, right? So now everything else is just bonus, so we're not banking on it. But you start talking about it so much where that like today's numbers become a reality. So then you start to, slowly in your mind, you're like, okay, we're talking about these old numbers, but we know that it's really, you know what I mean? So that's just human nature, right?
You spend that profit in your mind a little.
Yeah. Go to Disneyland. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. We actually have Varun here. He's asking you where in Toronto it is, and he's asking if
it's downtown Toronto in the Junction area of Varun. So yeah, it's like the DuPont Annette, that area down there, the Dundas West, that little corridor down there. So it's a pretty hot market, high demand. So not only that, then I have that deal that I have a deal closing, I think on Tuesday out in your part of town, Shawn. Thanks to Shawn. Yeah, for sure. So that's another, flip that we have going on, and looking at picking up a few more after this call potentially. So yeah, things are looking really good, man.
Not if I call him first.
Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work, man. Come on.
Exactly. Yeah, you guys can all split the wholesale fees. I'm okay with that.
I think it just doubled.
They sure did. No, I'm just kidding. They were already doubled before we were talking. But yeah, no, it's crazy, man. Like I'm glad to hear that things are going so great out there, and like the appreciation happening right now in the market has been so great for so many people, right? Like, I mean, it's a lot of speculation right now, anyways. And I mean, it's you got to profit off it while you can, because you never know how long it's going to last. And I mean, I know with Cali, I know you're a smart guy, anyways, and I have no doubts that you're gonna pull those deals off, anyways, even if it didn't appreciate. I'm sure you didn't go into something not knowing what you were getting into.
Conservative, man. You gotta be conservative. Like, as much fun as we like to have when we're talking about like hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, you don't want to get caught. It's not a game. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I think you have to really crunch those numbers and look at worst case scenarios. And we always talk about having multiple exit strategies, right? So like, what could it rent for? If it can't sell, what can we sell it for right now if we had to, right? So then when you look at those dynamics, the fundamentals, I think it's a lot easier to move forward. But appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's so important. Like, I mean, do you have a certain strategy that you go by, like to calculate your properties and stuff like that? Like, I mean, I know myself, I built myself like a spreadsheet that I just kind of punch in the pedigree information, like, fair market value and ARV and yada, 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 and just spit out a number for me. I'm curious how other people kind of go about doing their calculations as well. Do you just do long form, figure it out each time, or do you figure out a shortcut?
So I mean, I may not recommend this to people who are just like getting started, but I'll use different mortgage calculators. Especially for long-term buy and holds. Mm-hmm. What I like to do is I like to put aside, I calculate my net income. So the expenses that I include are usually, you have your insurance, you have your property tax. I put aside 10% for property management. I put aside 7% for repairs and maintenance. And I usually round up, right? So everything is rounded up. Even for the mortgage, I'll calculate it at like 3.5% as opposed to what it is today. Because most of the products that I'm getting are variable rate mortgages. If they are bank financed, currently they're all bank financed. So that's thankful for that. There's going to be a time where I'm going to have to transition into a little bit more expensive money. But until then, I'm going to, take advantage of the cheaper stuff. But yeah, I like to make sure that there's no, especially for a long-term hold for the single family or small multifamily, that it's at least, $200 a month net income after those expenses, right? Mm-hmm. You may be able to get away with, not having to spend that much on repairs and maintenance or finding a cheaper property manager. So that's just a plus. But I like to go in again, like worst case scenario, what if it does cost me 10%? And what if the maintenance is 7%? And I like to have a slush fund, right? So I like to put aside at least for the first 6 months, leave all that money in that bank account so that there is a buffer, right? Yeah. Whether it's $5,000 or 6 months, I like to make sure that I'm not digging in my own pocket or my investors aren't digging in their own pocket. And so far, this strategy has worked wonderful for me. How about you, Alex? I know you have some experience with that as well, man.
You already know Alex doesn't long form.
Yeah.
I got Excel spreadsheet coming out the wazoo. But no, very similarly. So especially I think the long-term buy and holds. I mean, for a flip, I actually, I'll touch on the flip as well when you calculate your flip numbers, especially if it's anything over, like a longer flip. So 6 to 8 months, assuming you get it done in 6 months and you're accounting for 8 for additional holding costs until it closes. Don't underestimate the cost of borrowing, your down payment or your renovation costs. So I allocate those as well. But then I also go a step further. And then, so to your point, like if it is conventional financing or like your penalty or your lender's payout, whatever that is, include that as well. And then also if it is conventional financing, whatever you may have done in that 6 to 8 months as far as principal reduction, account for those too. So end up being very specific, like 2 decimal places type. And of course, on any budget that I do, I'll add at least 10%, if not more, 10% just buffer, because it takes nothing to creep 10% in scope. So that's on the flip side. On the long-term buy and hold, so my spreadsheet actually includes the BRRRR next to the flip. So, and because I'll turn the flip into an ARV that will refinance. I think a few savvy investors have mentioned this. When you're going for that high ARV, make sure that you can qualify at that new mortgage. You can actually service that new debt even if you get it appraised that high. But what Cali said, I think you mentioned, Cali, 10% on property management, which I could agree more with, even though some properties, especially in Hamilton, I'll do my own property management. So yes, that's an additional 10% of total gross rents. So that's an additional 10% in my pocket, but I don't think I'm going to take on more than another one before I actually outsource that. Vacancy allowance is a big one, especially when you're having like multifamily. There's a higher likelihood of a turnover. So vacancy allowance, I always like to account for. What I don't really account for, or not in a significant matter, and definitely not a percentage of gross rents, is maintenance. And part of the reason for that is that the properties that I would like to buy and hold are properties that I've renovated before I started renting them out. So they would have been either a single family home or whatever it would have been, but I'm doing a full renovation to it. So presumably I will have renovated the entire place and everything is relatively new. The likelihood of having major problems, I may know that I'm going to change the roof in another 2 years. So that's just a hard number that I'm going to allocate. But otherwise, presumably I shouldn't have any real problems for at least a few years, even though a fridge is now rated for 3 to 4 year lifespan or a dishwasher. But presumably everything is brand new, kitchens, plumbing, electrical. So you should have very little capital expenses, at least in the first few years. And I don't have any plans on holding a property more than a few years, or at least not in today's market. So that's kind of why I don't.
You know what's interesting, Alex? I agree with when you have a property that's renovated, the bigger ticket items probably don't need to be changed because you've already done it. But I always think of the tenants who put things that they're not supposed to down the toilet or in the drain. You know what I mean? So those calls, right? I like to put something aside because I find that even the best tenants, those things happen. Things just happen, right? If they have kids, it's hard to control. So I always like to have that contingency just there. And it just makes it easier for me to know that I'm not digging in my pocket. It's already there. It's a side. If I don't need it, then it's there. But it's just, that's why I run my numbers, just so, again, peace of mind to have that little bit of extra so I don't have to worry about showing up and doing it myself. It's very easy to pick up the phone, call the plumber. Speaking of which, one thing I love doing is going on YouTube and sharing like a 2-minute how-to with my tenants.
Oh, yeah.
How to fix this or how to fix that. Like if the toilet or whatever, find a little YouTube video, I share it with them, or I hop on a video call on WhatsApp, and I'll walk them through it. And if it's bigger than that, then I'll call the plumber, right? Because I don't really want to be showing up there.
Well, that's a good way to do it too, because some people like just don't know how to troubleshoot, and I think a lot of us sometimes take that for granted, like as common sense. But really, like you don't know what you don't know, and I mean, if you're able to kind of talk it through with them on the phone, that could just potentially save you hundreds of dollars, right? And then at least at that point that you are going to have to call a professional or deal with it yourself, right?
I think a lot of it will also depend on, like, this is where I think there should be a certain personal aspect relationship with your tenants and understand who they are. So I don't want to paint the avatar, but somebody that really doesn't feel comfortable in doing anything, is if they're local to me, I'd rather go there and just make it very smooth for them, or get somebody, like get a plumber in there. And if I think it was Matheson that mentioned one of his tenants is a general contractor. Like, this guy's lights go out and he can't change a light bulb. Come on. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So we kind of rely on their skill level as well to do certain things.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes, like, I mean, there's situations where tenants just feel like it's not their responsibility, right? Yeah. So, and which is kind of understandable in a sense, as much as, I'm sure every landlord would like their tenant to be able to do whatever it is that is required. Daniel is actually commenting here, Cali, that your idea with the YouTube was actually great education for tenants. So glad to see Daniel. Daniel's another one of our top fans. He's pretty much here every week as well. So thanks for being here again, Daniel.
I think we should contract Daniel to do a bunch of YouTube videos on how to fix this.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
This is how you flush a toilet. Make sure that
you can do a few other things here.
Nothing larger than the hole in there. Yeah. It's only a 3-inch pipe.
I have a funny story I'll share with you guys here, with my tenants. So, like, anything that I guess since 2020, anything that I've purchased has been like property management, right? I've been getting out of like being the property manager myself. So one of my older tenants, they sent me they called me to tell me that there's water leaking in the unit below them, right? So I don't own the unit below. So I just happened to be in the area at the time. So I said, okay, these things happen. So let me see what I could do, right? Figured it's got to either be the toilet, the kitchen, or like the kitchen sink, or the dishwasher. They're all in the same area generally. So I show up. I'm playing around with the toilet, checking it out. I'm checking out the sink. I start taking apart the brackets on the dishwasher to pull it out, and I'm getting under there and I'm looking around, seeing what's wet. Nothing's wet. I'm like, what's going on here? And the tenant says to me, he says, hey, I think that it might be over here. There might be something over here, right? And I'm like, okay, 1 second. Let me just finish this. I'm almost there. I have the dishwasher pulled out by now, right? Before they say anything. And he says, come over here and take a look. So I walk around the corner and they have a one of those water dispensers, right? And he's like, yeah, I think I know my son spilled water here yesterday, so this might be it. And I'm like, well, yeah, it probably, like, why didn't you tell me that before I showed up, right? So anyway, that was definitely it. But these are the types of things that you deal with sometimes, and unfortunately, all you can do is kind of say, thanks, gladly I didn't call a plumber to go and show up that time, because then what do you do, right? It's kind of like, anyway, so I just thought I would share that with you guys. These are the types of things that you have to deal with sometimes, but they always pay. They're never late, and they're in good shape. So it's just, you got to laugh about it, right? It's not the end of the world.
Right. Well, it could always be worse, right? Like, I think that's the part you got to remember when you're dealing with stuff like that. As much as it might seem like a pain at the time, but like it could have been something really bad, right? Like your dishwasher leaking in, like to something just mention like the condo that I've just sold there. We had no idea. We got the inspection done. Everything was sold. We were going through. Just the only thing left was the inspection condition, and So we got the inspection done, and I never thought for a million years that I should fill up that bathtub to see if there was any kind of leaking going on. So the inspector comes in, he fills up the bathtub, and sure enough, there's water leaking into the main level. So, I'm like sitting there going through all these scenarios in my head, like, how's this even possible? I never thought to check it, kicking myself. So I go there and I bring Daniel actually, and we go and have a look at this, and we fill up the bathtub halfway, and we let it drain down, and nothing, no leak anywhere. I'm like, oh, they're crazy, they don't know what they're talking about. So whatever, I had to go back the next day for something, and it just itching at me. So I fill it all the way up, thinking it might be the overflow, fill it all the way up over the overflow, and plug it and let it sit there, see if anything happens, and still nothing. I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh, this inspector is crazy, what's going on? Then I go to drain it. Sure enough, water comes pouring down through there. I have like no towels or anything with me. I pull off my hoodie and I'm like cleaning it all up. I'm like, what is going on? So I ended up getting a plumber in there. And it turns out like I had been doing it for obviously a long time, because there was a little kick out on the outside of the building that had a little bit of a soffit there. And they had plywood that was just rotted right underneath it. So we're like, oh, great. But luckily it ended up just being the tub drain, and where it was leaking, it wasn't causing it all went outside onto this plywood and leaked out the corner. So like nothing else was really damaged. And like, luckily I thought it was going to be like I was like, oh my gosh, what happens? We're going to have to tear off siding and whatever, and yada, yada, yada. It just ended up being a little piece of plywood to re-insulate. And the whole job cost about $600. And I was like, oh, that could have been so much worse. Like, I'm so thankful that it was a very simple fix, right? Like,
were you able to save the sale?
No, that sale was gone, but it turned out better because we got a private sale. So now I only have to pay my realtor, just because we're still under contract with her, and we ended up selling it for about $2,000 more than originally anyway. So I'll end up getting an extra $6,000 on top of it.
Let it flow. The water, they worked out in your favor, man.
Yeah, exactly, right? So yeah. Good. It's good.
Awesome.
But yeah. It's like we were coming up on the end of our time here today, so that went by really fast.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. Just sharing some stories about real estate. I love it.
Let's see,
all right. So you guys just want to sign off and just tell everybody how they can get in touch with you? Or do you just want
for sure. Go ahead. I'll end it this time.
All right.
I'll let you go, Shawn.
All right. So, again, my name's Shawn Gunther, and I'm from Moncton, New Brunswick here, and we're currently wholesaling here in the province. So we're looking to expand. So we're always looking for more people to join the team. So if you're interested in real estate investing and you're over here in the East Coast, definitely get in touch with me. And you guys can reach me at 506-800-4289 or on Instagram at the Moncton Wholesaler. Go ahead, Alex.
All right. Alex Mstatea from Hamilton, Ontario. My main focus being flips and conversion projects, I guess duplex, triplex conversions, primarily in Hamilton, but all throughout the GTA as well as Southwestern Ontario. Always open to collaborating, joint ventures, partnerships. If you want to reach out, I'm at 289-769-8975, or you can catch me on Instagram, alexandru.mustatea.
Okay. Awesome. My man. All right. So everybody, hey, thanks a lot for joining us and sticking around and listening to us just kind of, gab about what we've been up to and what we're looking forward to doing. If you ever want to reach out to me, you can contact me at 289-207-5316 or on Instagram at Grow with Cali. It's all about growth. If you ever want to just talk to me about some of the deals I'm working on, I mean, right now there's actually quite a few in the pipeline, and I am looking to get other people involved and put some money in your pockets. So I'm looking forward to hearing from anybody. I'm located in the GTA, but I'm investing in the GTA, in the Kawarthas, Southwestern Ontario, New Brunswick. I have a really strong network, so reach out and let's collab on something. Thanks for tuning in.